Welcome to the Unnatural Leader, where we believe that leadership is a skill that can be trained and not an attribute with which you're born. I'm Andy Glenn, and today I want to talk about something that I think is very important and about which I've heard many junior and mid-level leaders in my organization struggle. But before I get there, I want to relate a quick story as to why I think this is timely and why I'm bringing this up currently. I'm not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination, and of course in my job I have to be, or I have to at least pretend to be a morning person. So one little hack that I've discovered is that the blue light emitted by our phones and devices interrupts melatonin production. So one of the first things that I've implemented in my morning ritual, I guess, is that as soon as I wake up, I'll turn on my phone and I'll quickly scroll through Facebook. Just kind of looking, getting a feel for things, but letting that blue light hit my eyes more than anything, and it helps me wake up, I found. So the other day, I opened up Facebook and I was scrolling through, and I saw somebody posted a newspaper article about an old boss of mine who is taking a huge promotion and becoming the head of a very, very large unit within our company. So first off, of course, I'm ecstatic about this, but then this also got me thinking about the relationship that he and I have, because we've stayed in touch since I worked for him. He's not currently my boss. He hasn't been my boss in probably 3 years or so, but we left on very favorable terms, and we've stayed in touch since then, and he's become a bit of an informal mentor to me since then. So he's provided me advice when I've needed it. He's given me a sounding board to bounce ideas off of. He's helped me kind of guide my career since working with him. And I think that that's something that's very important, and I think that's something that many junior and mid-level managers are missing right now, is having that sort of mentor. So I wanted to quickly talk about, how do you have an informal mentor like this? What are the key steps? Now, I almost am willing to make a bet that at some point in time in your career, you have worked for somebody or with somebody that has since been promoted, that you trust implicitly, that you know would be able to give very, very sound advice. The problem, though, is you just haven't stayed in touch. So what I want to talk about is one little email that you can send that will open up that relationship and get you that informal mentor that is so critical to our own development. None of us are rocks and islands unto ourselves. We all need help in developing ourselves and in moving forward in our careers. So send a short email and get this informal mentor that will help you. So what have I done in the past? We'll use this example, Eric, currently, and I've done it with others as well, Chris and several other former bosses of mine. I've sent just one email that opens up a dialogue, which has become so critical and so important that it's allowed us to then foster a relationship. And all that email said, it's probably about 4 lines, and it's, "Dear Chris," or "Dear Eric, I really enjoyed working with you or for you. I think that the organization was phenomenal," or something along those lines. "I hope you're well. Please let's stay in touch. Signed, Andy." And that one 4-line email, they are most likely going to write back and stay in touch with you. And then, a month later, send them another email and just kind of follow up. Now, here's some really cool things about this. First, you're opening it up organically. You're not, "Hey, will you be my mentor?" Because that's just kind of a strange way of going about it. But you're developing that organic relationship, which they'll appreciate. Second, when you do ask them for advice, there's a lot of important things that are going to happen. First, they're probably going to give it to you because you've got this dialogue going already. Maybe you've given them a little bit of information about where you're at in your career. You've asked them about how they're doing. So you've got that conversation going, and they might even come to you and say, hey, what's next for you? At which point in time, it's very easy for you to just say, oh, I'm not sure, but I'm looking at these different possibilities. What do you think? And so they're gonna respond, and they're gonna give you a little bit of advice. So what does that do to them? First, it's gonna kind of stroke their ego. And I hate to say it, but we are all egotists in a way. We are all self-interested, and we ought to be self-interested. So they're going to get a nice bump in their day because somebody's asking them for advice. I know anytime that somebody asks me for advice, I feel great. I feel excited. I feel that they are interested in themselves as well as in me, and then I take a little bit of a vested interest in them from then on. So that's the next part. They're going to have a vested interest in you once they've given you advice. So follow up with them. Let them know how implementing that advice has gone. What came of it? Did you follow it? Did you not follow it? But by doing that, you're going to continue to develop that relationship. But here is another really, really important part about what happens. By asking them for advice, they are going to give you something which is going to, again, develop that relationship. But here's the secret. They are more likely in the future to help you even more with bigger things. So if you ask for something innocuous up front, hey, you know, these are the 3 things I'm looking at, what do you think? Maybe 5 years down the road, you go to them and say, hey, I need a job, do you have anything? And because you've been building this relationship and they've been helping you along the way, they've got that vested interest in you, and they know who you are and what you bring to the table. And so they're going to pull you under their wing and kind of take you with them and help you with that job. Or whatever the bigger thing is in the future. But starting small incrementally, you can grow in terms of what that relationship gives back and forth. So that's one of the coolest things about these informal mentors, and I've had several job leads come out of these types of relationships, and I think it's very important, but also super, super easy, and so many people are missing out on this because they're either intimidated by the boss, or they don't want to stay in touch, or they just don't know what to say. And again, I think it's as simple as one email, 4 lines, "Dear you, it's me. Was thinking about you, really enjoyed working for you. I thought that you ran a phenomenal organization. Would love to stay in touch. Hope you're well. Signed, me." So I would strongly encourage you to go ahead and send that email at some point in time. Let me know if you do, how it works out. And then maybe you've already got an informal mentor. And if you do, shoot me a note down in the comments and just kind of let me know who that mentor is, what you've gleaned from it. Again, you know, for me, I've gotten job leads, I've gotten a lot of career advice just by something as simple as one single email. So again, please, 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 if you haven't done it in the past, if you don't have that informal mentor, spend 5 minutes, think about who you might want as that mentor that you've worked for in the past, 1, 2 levels above you. Shoot them a note and just open that dialogue and begin to build that relationship. You're going to get so much out of it, as will they. And that's really what this is about, is building value for both of you and making that synergy. So again, drop a note in the comments, let me know what you think. And if you would, hit the subscribe button if you're interested in learning more about leadership and continuing to take your leadership game to the next level. Again, it's a skill, it's not something that you're born with. We can all develop this. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thanks, have a great one.